Then we'll let it roll. Okay, it's 11:01, so I'll get going. Hello and welcome to Copilot Helped Us Fly. My name is Richard Randall. I'm an associate here at Millennium. And you know how we like to roll. No PowerPoint slides. We like to do it live, show the product in action, warts and all. So we'll see what we get. Sometimes we get some interesting results. But that way you can make the decision as to whether this is something you're interested in or not, as opposed to some polished video. You get me copying and pasting and doing a bunch of stuff, and you get to see it live in real time. So I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start to talk about Microsoft Copilot, and we're going to actually use it right now. So here we go. I'm going to share this. And to start talking about Microsoft Copilot, you really need to talk a little bit about the roots of the product, which comes from ChatGPT. And so ChatGPT is an interface here that we're probably all familiar with, and it has some very interesting basic functionality. And I'm going to just put in a couple of prompts right now that will allow us to see something like, lost my mouse here. Hang on one second. And we will do write a 5-day meal plan with plenty of protein, right? So we'll put that in there. And this is a very simple prompt, and it will go through and do exactly what we've asked. The point that I want to make here is that the more information that you give it in the context or prompt window, the more robust response you get. And this feature, like in this case, write a thank you email to Rob, write with a funny tone. So I'm giving it a bit of tone for context, and you'll see that the answer comes back in a more robust fashion. This is called prompt engineering, and it's really about asking questions in a certain fashion with a certain bit of detail so that answers come back with a real that are more usable, right? More robust. Here is a big one. This is a good example of things that can be done in ChatGPT, which is write a blog post, these many words maximum, make it appropriate for LinkedIn. It should be about this topic, which I picked the importance of a well-organized chart of accounts, not something too sexy, but is a good example. And output of the text should be in Markdown, and the tone should be professional. So this is an example of a way that you need to rewire your brain a bit to be able to work with ChatGPT so that you really get good responses. It's my view, my personal view, that this kind of prompt engineering is going to be something that you will need less and less as the product begins to function inside of an application like Copilot. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see this kind of language here be replaced by features and buttons. And that means, to me, this again, my opinion, the product then becomes more approachable than me saying you have to learn all this language. So let's take a look at another feature that ChatGPT can do before we leave the ChatGPT world and enter the Copilot world, and that is to summarize a web page. So this is a web page that talks about time management skills. That's a big thing here at Millennium. We follow Stephen Covey and know all his books. So it's ChatGPT has reached out and has pulled that information from that web page, and it has then brought it back and summarized it. Now, let's leave the ChatGPT world. I'm going to copy this, and let's go into the Copilot world. So we'll launch Microsoft Edge, and in Edge, you're going to see there's a button for Copilot. So we're going to bring Copilot over, and one of the things that we can do is we can go to that web page that we just went to. Here it is, it comes up. And instead of, you can see now there's the appearance of buttons here, right? So one of them of the buttons that you're going to see is generate a page summary. So rather than having to go over here, summarize that information, copy, paste, or even in that thank you email to Rob, copy that into an email, send it, you're getting it live in a button inside of the product itself. And to me, that is one of the main points of difference between organic Chat GPT and Microsoft Copilot is the lack of prompt engineering that you need to know to interface with it because it's been replaced by buttons. So let's go back and do that blog post again, but with a little bit less language. And I'm going to put this in here. And instead of saying about the tone, I'm going to say make the tone professional, make it for LinkedIn, make it medium in size, generate a draft. So again, you need to know less and less prompt engineering and just need to know the buttons. And to me, this is more approachable than organic Chat GPT, and it's available in the application that you're already using. Now, also notice the information is protected. So this information just stays within your Microsoft 365 tenant. It's not going out anywhere. It's not actually, you can see this shield here. It's not being used to train the model. So it's private to your organization once you have a paid Microsoft Copilot account. So that's it showing up in Microsoft Edge. It shows up in other applications as well. And the next one I'm going to show is Microsoft Teams, which we're kind of in right now. And one of the things that Teams can do is it has read all of your emails, chats, documents, and it is, and again, it's private to you. And one of the things it can do, all of these prompts in here is, tell me the latest from this person, or help me get ready for this meeting that's coming up. Because it knows your calendar, it knows your schedule, it knows your emails, it knows all of that information. So I'm going to pick David Heredia. This will be interesting. Again, this is live, right from our tenant, and it's going through all of the documents, emails, chats between us, and it's saying these are the things that are going on between you and David Heredia, and it's summarizing that in this page right here. Another piece to notice, citations. These citations are to the actual email or to the actual chat, and you can click on these citations and it'll take you right over there. So it's summarizing, pulling the data together, and then once you find something interesting, you can drill down and go to the source material that Copilot used to generate this summary. So let's take a look at one more thing to illustrate that it has indexed all of the data inside our tenant that I have the rights to see. So for example, let me come to here and we'll go to Copilot. And on the web, I can close this over here. It's split into two windows. Here's that same thing. Give me the information from this person because it's going inside the tenant. Or go out and we can do a bunch of things like make a photo, do whatever. But one of the things we can do is, actually, I'll do this over here. I'll show you. This is kind of the same. Inside of here, I can ask, what is MBSG Millennium's California Corporation number? I know it exists on a document somewhere on the network. It's read all the documents. I just don't know where it is. Someone's on the phone. I need to give them that number. So rather than start hunting for that information on the network in some document, I know it's on some California tax return or some kind of piece like that if I have the rights to see it. And it's going to find the document, hopefully, again, this is live, and give us that number. Boom, there it is. And then it's going to provide a citation as to where it got that from. So this illustrates that it has access to the documents on the network that you have the rights to see. If you don't have the rights to see them, it won't return a result. And you can just ask it in this massive index, hey, what is X? What is Y? I don't know where that document is. Help me out. And again, you get all of the usual chat GPT stuff like um, make a photo of a dog with flowers, right? And so this is a chat GPT feature from Dolly. You get this, you get all of the chat GPT features in Copilot, plus all of these extras that I'm showing you. So while that is generating, we're going to move on to Microsoft Outlook and show how Copilot appears inside of Outlook. So let me go here. And of course, it's a golden retriever. Yay. And you can pick and you can do designer stuff and you can copy things and go back and forth. Anyway, in Microsoft Outlook, one of the things that you can do is you can create a new email. I'm going to send that email to Rob. Thank you. And Copilot appears here. And Chad, we were talking about this button appeared this morning, so the products are changing like as we speak. So inside of Copilot, I can say, like we did before, write a thank you email to Rob, and instead of including all the tone of the language about prompt engineering, I can pick the size as a button, and I can say I want it casual, I want it direct, I want it formal. I don't need it as a poem, but let me put that in. And let me run that. And what's nice is, remember, before we had to copy and paste back and forth. Here, this is inside the product generating, and I just click, great, I'll take it, and boom, I'm off to the races. So this is where Copilot shows right up in the product and brings Chat GPT-esque features at your fingertips. Here's another feature that it's known for, and that's doing a summary. Here is a large email from my friend Rob, and you can pick the Copilot button and click Summarize, and here it has summarized all of this long email for us with citations to elements in the paragraphs below to where that comes from. So generating new emails, summarizing long emails appears as a button inside the product. So now let's go to Microsoft Word and how Copilot appears here. So Copilot has a button you'll see up in the toolbar, or you can click this little icon here. Let's use the example that we used before. I am going to include a little bit of prompt engineering to tell it to set the tone as being professional. But what's nice is we're not copying and pasting back and forth. It's doing it inside of Microsoft Word. And it's going to output a formatted response that I can then click, change a bit, save, click, and send to our LinkedIn team to have them go ahead and post this very gripping piece of information about chart of accounts. And again, you've got some iteration. You can have it change the tone, regenerate it again. You don't like it, delete it, or you can keep it. So now let's go on to another program, PowerPoint, which I am terrible at, by the way. That's why we don't do a lot of PowerPoints, because I just don't have the skills. And what's helpful is that it can at least start with a good first draft of a PowerPoint. And you'll see, again, no context, more buttons where you can say, hey, create a presentation about my favorite subject, golden retrievers. And now it's going to go out and pull together information from the web. So again, a couple things I want to reiterate while this is generating. Instead of having to copy and paste back and forth, it's doing it inside the Microsoft Office product. It's replacing a lot of the language that you need to make ChatGPT work with buttons. Again, it makes it more approachable. And third, it knows you. It's read all the information, your writing style. It has grounding in your company, all that kind of stuff. So here it is. It's created this fabulous presentation about my favorite subject, golden retrievers. You can leave the Copilot button, go into designer mode, and you can change the layout of the document. You can, again, it's not perfect. It's a first draft, and then you take it from there. So one other thing I want to show here in PowerPoint, we're going to do a new presentation. We'll go into the Copilot button, and I'm often tasked with going and making a presentation that's training based upon some training document that I put together. So I'm telling it here to make a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, based upon a Word document that I created in the past. So this Word document was on Copilot, shocker, and it allows me to take all that information within seconds. Normally this take me a half hour to put together, because I'm going to now do a presentation like you're looking at here, and I'm going to be training on something like Copilot, but I've got everything already written out in either a PDF or a Word document. And here it is sucking in all that information, and it's converting it from a Word document into PowerPoint. So let's see how much longer that's going to take. You can see it's building out the slides. This actually produced a wacky result when we were rehearsing yesterday, so we'll see what it does. But that's the fun of doing it live, and see how it's going into it's in a loop on doing conclusions. I'll let it go for another minute or so. Okay, here we go. So it's taken that document, it's even taken photographs that I had inside that Word document, and it's put it into the presentation. Once again, you can go into the designer mode, and you can begin to change the layout of this presentation, right? And you're moving from a first draft to a final draft super quick. Okay. Okay. One other item that I'd like to show. Excel, let me mention Excel for just a moment. Excel is kind of in a preview mode, and so I'm not really going to show it. Oddly enough, and I want to be very honest with everybody, because ChatGPT now has the paperclip, you can paperclip and upload an Excel file in organic ChatGPT and kind of do more powerful things there. The presentation of Copilot inside of Excel is still baking, and it's not fully baked in my opinion. So I just want to kind of be upfront with that. So I'm not going to burn any more time on that piece. But let me go back to one other final piece that is super helpful for us, for me rather, and I use all the time. And that is in Teams. So one of the things that Teams can do is it can summarize meetings like we're on right now. It can provide a transcript, and it can provide a summary. So here is a meeting, and they call this feature recap. Here I'm doing a cybersecurity training session or awareness session. And what it has here is little bar graphs of when other people are speaking down in this corner here. It has a video representation of the entire presentation. It took a transcript. It wrote down everything everybody said in the meeting. And then at the end of the meeting, it created notes on a summary of the meeting. And it even then created follow-up tasks for people who attended the meeting. So if you're having a meeting where somebody else is hosting it, you're attending the meeting, you can't stay for the whole thing, you can leave and come back and view the recap to get caught up. Or if you're a manager and you want to make sure that the correct topics were covered in a particular meeting, but you yourself are full of meetings throughout the day, you can later on in the day come back and look at all of the different meetings that took place and view all of the different recaps. Okay, so to kind of wrap things up, what we want to talk about is the differences between this very organic, raw ChatGPT interface, how it then takes that and gives it to you. You still have copilot.microsoft.com to be able to do all of this stuff with, but you get all the extra buttons embedded inside of the Microsoft Office suite, and you don't have to know as much context prompt engineering to make it work. Is it worth it? Well, if you think of Copilot as being $30 a month if you have a corporate subscription, you're getting with that the $20 ChatGPT subscription because you get all the same features. But in my view, this is my opinion, you're also getting Grammarly type of features, which it has a subscription. That recap feature I just showed you, that is also sold from Otter AI is another add-on that does that kind of thing. So you can see these subscriptions, these AI subscriptions kind of start to stack up after a while. So in my view, I feel that it provides good value and it's a technology that's slightly more approachable. It's because it's kind of easier to work with buttons than convoluted language. So that's all we have for today. I really appreciate everybody joining. My name is Richard Randall. If you want to know more information about ChatGPT or Copilot, you can hit us up at info@mbsg.com. Our website is mbsg.com. We do presentations like this all the time on ERP, AI, cybersecurity, and we try to do them live so you get to have hands-on experience with it. And we really appreciate you joining today. Have a great day. Thank you.